Hi, I've been meaning to do this video for a long time. It's Megan, by the way. Oops, forgot that. But I haven't gotten to it. And part of it's because it took me a while to decide what I think about the product. So this is the Besame 1940s perfume. So it comes in this little bottle, and I'm gonna open it up. It's a stopper. It doesn't have spray on it. And so there you have it. And then it comes in this cute little pouch. No, I didn't get a box, but some people might. They're $42, and so what Besame did is they've got 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940s, 50s, 60s, and I don't think they have 70s. I think 60s is where they stop. So what they say is, the Decades of Fragrance collection is the fruit of 6 years of research and exploration to bring the essence of each decade featured in the collection. We wanted to give you an olfactory picture of the decade in time, using familiar ingredients from each period to create an impression in your mind of time gone by. Each perfume extract is meticulously crafted from precious essential oils and natural alcohol. So these are using real essential oils versus some of the perfumes today, which don't. They use synthetics. Be transported to your favorite era with each of our intoxicating scents. And they say, because of the strength of these perfumes, these bottles do not include an atomizer top. Only a drop of fragrance on your pulse points will last throughout the day. So first I'm going to talk about the collection, then I'll talk about this perfume. I went into the Besame store because living in Los Angeles, with it being in Burbank, it's not that far, and I happen to be in that area a lot for a little period of time. So I've smelled them all, and I liked them all. Not surprisingly, I like some more than others, but I really was impressed overall. And when you get these perfumes that don't have the synthetics the way some of the others do, you get kind of a richness and a purity of scent that isn't cluttered up with kind of that, I don't know, I've read lots of people describe synthetics, and it ultimately comes down to, it just doesn't ring true somehow to the human brain. There's just something about it which we might love it. There's some scents that have all these like synthetics, and I love those synthetics, but it doesn't have the same purity that these types of fragrances have. Having said that, I don't think you need a lot of this fragrance, but I would say the wear time is not the greatest. I get maybe 6 to 7 hours, and I think it was the 1920s, which I also really love, that I got the shortest wear time, probably about 4 hours. For whatever reason, that one scent just didn't wear very well. But it was kind of fun going into the shop and smelling each of them and kind of imagining, with the descriptions that Besame has of the era, you know, does it fit, does it not fit, what do I think of that time period? Very romantic image. So I like that part of what Besame has done here. And I think that is kind of the company's strength too. They have strong quality in their products, and then they have this romanticism and this classicism and this time and place sense, which is very nostalgic. And they follow through with, obviously, this nostalgic packaging. For a brand new perfume line, honestly, I think this packaging is just fine. It's not as kind of frou-frou as some of the other stuff. I think about some of my favorite perfume packaging, and you know, but $42 is also a reasonably good deal. So now 1940s, and why I picked this one. I picked this one because I liked it, right? So after Prohibition, New York City Jazz Club, 1940s, aromatic, floral, ambery. And I actually bought this in the wintertime. We're now in summer, but I bought it when it was, I don't know, Los Angeles was going through one of those cooler phases. So the top notes are bergamot, cognac, and labdanum. Base notes are sandalwood, amber, benzoin. And then it's a 30 milliliter glass bottle. What are these things? So bergamot obviously has that kind of slight citrusy feel to it. I don't really smell much citrusy. When they say that's a top note, I guess, yeah, there's like a, maybe a little sharp aesthetic, not antiseptic, that's wrong. There's maybe a little sharp sense, little citrus, a little bit. I'm not smelling it so much. Cognac, totally. There's a deep richness. When I first spray this on, there's like this deep, rich kind of alcoholic punch that you're just like, yeah, it's totally cognac. It's that, cognac to me always smells warm, right? It reminds me of a burning fireplace, even though it's not at all woody, but it's just got that depth and that alcohol richness. And I actually I was gonna wear this to a business meeting one day. I'm like, it does smell like cognac. No, I don't think I should. So you definitely get that. Divana, I had no idea what that was. I had never heard that ever in any perfume. So what it is, it's an herb and it's known to be rich, sweet, and fruity. Totally go with that. This perfume is rich, sweet, and fruity, but not in that sweet, as much as I just said rich, sweet, and fruity, not in that cloying honey sort of sweetness, which I can like in some perfumes, but more like a super ripeness, richness, depth. And you can see where I'm going with this perfume already, as I've made it only through a few notes. This perfume does not have a multifaceted feel to it, good or bad. You either like that or you don't. There are some perfumes which kind of shift a lot as I wear them and I smell them, and there's so much going on, and it's just kind of a explosion for the senses where you're like, wow, you know, there's just this and there's that, and I can smell the, you know, gourmand, and I can smell it. This is not like that. This is basically like curling up in a blanket in front of a fire with a cognac and maybe some chocolate, you know, and just relaxing. That's exactly what this scent is. It is enveloping, it's warm, it's comforting, it's familiar. I'm not quite understanding why that's the 1940s, but I didn't live at that time period, because that to me always makes me think of World War II, but maybe pre-World War II. Or it could just be that, you know, exiting the Depression, and for a while life was really good and safe. And that was a generation and a time where people needed their comforts, right? Between the Depression and World War II, they just needed to be wrapped in a big blanket, and this perfume is that blanket. Okay, enough digression. Heart notes: rose, clove, labdanum. I can smell the rose. And this is a very classic, not old lady rose at all, but it's a classic, not quite as powdery as some, but there's a slight powderiness to it. It's a real rich, full, ripe rose. You know, it's a blossoming rose as opposed to a rose bud with that young, tender feel to it. This is just an aged and vibrant, beautiful, rich rose. So you either like that or you don't. Clove. Recently, I've just been anti-clove and anti-cinnamon. I liked it before, and all of a sudden I'm just not liking it so much. So I was kind of intrigued with the clove in this, because that again is a note that, not multifaceted, but it is definitely there. And I guess this might be where the citrus comes in. When I was younger, we had this school project where we stuck those cloves into oranges and let it dry, and then they would be like those wonderful, great scent things that you had around Christmas time that you gave as gifts, and they would just make the whole room smell warm and Christmassy. Again, that word warm. And that's what you get here. You get that richness, that roundness, that fullness, that slight spiciness of the clove. And again, this is something I can definitely feel. Labdanum. Again, another note that to me I haven't seen in a lot of fragrances. So what I found, it's a rich brown resin sourced from the citrus shrubs of the species rock rose. This sticky resin is used since powerful ancient times as a natural remedy and perfume ingredient. Back in the past, it was collected from the beards and thighs of goats and sheep that grazed in the shrubs. Later on, the wooden instruments for sweeping the shrubs were invented. The resin was used to treat ailments. And today it's used basically in the perfume industry, and it's obtained by boiling the leaves and twigs by solvent extract or steam distillation. And it has a deep, powerful, leathery, ambery feel. Yes, yes, I get the leather. That kind of aged, again, we're back in that library, right? We're sitting in front of the fire, we've got our cognac, and now we're in a leather chair, and I get the leather. I get that musty, rich depth, that smokiness of the amber. It's just, it works. It works. Now we're gonna get to amber again. Base notes: sandalwood, amber, benzoin. And so I've just said the amber, and you either like the amber scents or you don't, but this is definitely an amber scent. It has that feel to it, and it's not like it's an overpowering amber that's going to hit you in the nose, but it does have that feel. And so that's either a yay or a nay. Then I said sandalwood. The sandalwood is definitely a softer version of sandalwood. It adds, again, we're back in the library, right? So we have our wood table, we have our book, we have our leather chair, we have our cognac, we have our kind of roses off to the side, and you can definitely feel and sense that sandalwood. To me, sandalwood is super exotic. It's one of those things that's an emotional thing for me. It's hard to describe it unemotionally. My dad used to travel a lot to India, and he would bring back like little carved sandalwood things for me. So to me, sandalwood has kind of an instant take me back to my childhood kind of a feel. So I'm not really objective, but try to be objective. It just adds foundational elements, right? That's what it is. It's just a slightly exotic thing that takes us far away, but also really grounds us. So that's what the sandalwood is in for me in this one. Last thing, benzoin. It's a balsamic resin. So we're now starting to get almost into like a men's fragrance here, aren't we? Balsamic with that deep, musty, vinegary scent to it, but still slightly sweet. And then also the resin, which adds a little bit of a sharpness, and again, adding more depth. So as you can see, to sum it all up, this really is a warm, rich, deep, not multifaceted scent for some reason, which I just can't fathom. Comforting place to be. Is it a summer scent? Nah, it's really, I think, more a winter scent, but depending on your personality, I think you can pull it off in the summer too. And obviously, of all the fragrances, 1910 to 1960, this is the one I decided I liked. I don't know that I'd wear it to a business meeting. Anyway, if you have this or you have any of the other scents, I would love to hear what you have to say. And if anyone has a recommendation, if I were to buy like another one, which one I should get, please let me know. And please subscribe on YouTube because it helps me a lot. Thank you.